Do you think that they'll stick with the Switch moniker? Or do you guys think that they'll try to call it something else entirely?
I would hope that they've learned from the Wii U's name that they should call it something else. But then, there was also the new Nintendo 3DS, which was like a stupid name. That was hard to distinguish from the base version of the system.
Right.
And then, like, a week after it came out, it was no longer new.
Yeah.
I had this theory that I don't think is ever going to come into fruition. It was after the Switch Lite released, because, there've always been rumors of a Switch Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I had this theory that they were going to call it the Switch Power, because you take Switch Lite and you reverse it, and it's a light switch. So if you take Switch Power and reverse it, then it's a power switch. But at this point, I believe they're going to only do a next-gen system, since they did the OLED instead of like a Switch Pro.
Yeah, the OLED is basically the Pro. That's like the new version. So I agree that calling it like the Switch Power or something like that might not be the best because of the same thing, the Wii U kind of effect. But if they called it the Switch 2, then that would be an obvious thing in the same way that people aren't confused that the PS5 is a new console.
Yeah.
So putting the number in front would help.
And Nintendo, and the thing is, Nintendo never does that. Like, they did that with the 3DS, but that played into the 3DS's gimmick.
Yeah.
And then the other cases is the Super Nintendo as opposed to the Nintendo.
Yeah, so the precedent isn't super set.
The Game Boy Advance.
Right. Okay, well, now that you're naming other consoles, maybe it has.
Maybe they have not been good at. They've never been good at naming consoles.
Yeah, they've never been good at. I mean,
think the Switch is pretty.
The names are iconic.
Yeah.
The thing is, if the Switch 2 still switches, then it should probably still be called the Switch, I suppose.
And that's what I think that we're all kind of hoping, is that it still switches.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Nintendo Twitch. You put the two.
The 3 Switch.
The new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
The super new Nintendo Switch.
Ultra 64.
Ultra 3
Pro.
Advance.
Just all of the subtitles in one.
With new funky mode.
With new funky mode.
What that even mean as a console? Yeah, I really hope it's not called the new Switch, because it was already confusing enough going to a GameStop and asking for a used new 3DS. Doing that for the Switch, a used new Switch, and people might not entirely understand. To be fair, the new 3DS was basically like a 3DS Pro. Like, it was just, there wasn't even that many exclusive games. Like, it was basically just a 3DS. Same everything, same online market, same everything. But the new Switch, with it being a completely new console, well, I don't know, because then there's all of the signs pointing to it rather being backwards compatible too. I almost could see them doing that, considering it like a small upgrade. I don't know, branding it as like a better version of the Switch rather than its own console.
They should just tagline, hey, this is a new one this time.
The biggest problem is getting the consumer base to recognize it as a new system and then invest in it because of that.
Yeah. And I really only see them doing that if they call it a Switch 2 or something different entirely.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a repeat of the Wii U.
Yeah, because again, they did it with the new 3DS.
And I doubt that the new 3DS sold enough to like replace the original 3DS's sales because of its recognizability as like a system that's capable of playing a couple more titles than the regular 3DS was able to play.
Yeah, a lot of the marketing was just that it's a new 3DS, not that it's a new console. It's not a new handheld. It's just a new 3DS, guys. It's the new one.
It just gets recognized as a version of the 3DS or as just a 3DS.
That's what a lot of the marketing pointed towards.
Yeah.